Well, hi, I'm the Rifter. Oh, you ready? You good?
Let me find this real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of got to find this before I go too far. Where is it?
Well, while he's screwing around with his phone, I'm the Rifter. This is
I'm the wireman.
this is
I'm
the
still
Wire
here.
Man.
Wireman.
Yeah.
Wireman.
You're not two men. You're man.
I'm wireman. Just one person, not superhero.
Oh, are we being politically correct? He's Wire Person.
No.
Well, he's Wire Person. Just so you know.
No.
Okay. Wireman, or JB. I'll call him JB or Jib because that's how you pronounce JB. Is Jib.
Yep.
Yep. So, welcome to our first podcast. It took forever to get this set up with the lights and everything. But we're here, and we're going to record this thing. If it's the last thing I do today, which it probably will be. But today's topic is the Hat Man, which is... That's the only name I know him by, unless you found another name.
Well, there's others, but we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. But first, you might be asking yourself, what is Hat Man? Well, I know you don't like... He doesn't like me calling it a shadow person, but that's, for lack of better term, that's what it is. It's a shadow person with a top hat. Sometimes they say it has a cape or some kind of trench coat.
He's in the kitchen.
Yeah, he's in the kitchen making ice right now, if you guys didn't know. Sorry about the echo that you're going to have on this, but you just got to deal with it for now until I get a better room to record in. Anyway, Hat Man's said to be a shadow person, and that's just the easiest classification I can come up with.
Sorry, set my phone down.
Yeah. I'll have to edit that out. Thanks. But more specifically, Hat Man's a shadow person with an actual top hat or a fedora. Sometimes he's seen with big teeth, red eyes. There's several different descriptions, but one is very universal. He's usually featureless, and I'm calling him a he because it's called Hat Man. I don't know what gender it is. I don't care. It's supposedly scary, so... But...
Just think about the Babadook.
Yeah, if you've seen that terrible movie,
It's a really crappy movie.
Yeah, it's terrible. But... most of these accounts are associated with sleep paralysis. And I guess doctors just dismiss it as sleep paralysis. But today we're going to treat it as it not being sleep paralysis. I would like to find out if it actually is something. And I don't know if you've come up with anything.
Through historical through some of the stories through history, like you said, I don't like the shadow person theory. Idea. I don't like calling it a shadow person. It acts more, I guess you would say, more of a demonic force.
I could see that. I mean, it's
a non-possessive demonic force.
It's textureless black, and sometimes people describe it with red eyes.
Because looking back at history, back to well beyond what we recognize as written history, there was the idea of the succubus, more of a female who would enter the room of a sleeping male. He'd wake up and be involved in not being able to breathe, complete paralysis, not being able to move, not being able to call out for help. Most times associated with, and I don't want to get to toilet humor or anything of that nature, but as most men know, you wake up with a certain appendage at full attention.
Oh, you mean when you wake up with stiff fingers? Because
yes.
I wake up with stiff fingers every morning.
Yes. And it was pertaining to, at the time, and this is even funnier, the Catholic Church blamed that upon a demon trying to, shall we say, mate Mate.
Forcibly mate.
Yes.
Forcible mating.
Hey.
We're not making light of rape. Rape's a terrible thing, but the term forcible mating is just humorous to me. I don't know why. I see dogs forcibly mate.
Try watching a horse.
Nope.
It's even worse.
No.
Anyway, we're deviating.
Yeah, we digress.
We digress greatly. But earliest accounts throw this into a female, and then as time has gone on, it's become more closely related to what we call the Hat Man, the top hat fedora, shadow person phenomena. It doesn't show that.
Tosh.
Get him, Tosh.
Calm down.
Crazy dog.
Yeah.
Anyhow, there are theories abound. Yes, the sleep paralysis does lend the scientific explanation of what's going on.
I'm going to let him take over for just a second so I can... Never mind. The dog is done.
Did he wear himself out?
I guess he forcibly mated himself to death.
Hope there's... Never mind. I'm not going into the Family Feud questions here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be bad. Anyhow, you had some interesting theories.
I do. First, for those of you that don't know what sleep paralysis is, so when you fall asleep, your body secretes these... What? Secrete?
That is such a nasty word.
It doesn't secrete because that would be coming through your skin. So it releases... There we go. That's better.
That's a better
It
word.
releases these chemicals, and I can't remember what it is. It's two chemicals, but when you dream, it keeps you from acting those out. It keeps you basically from jumping out of the bed, and it paralyzes you. Sleep paralysis is your brain waking up and your body not being able to move because those chemicals are still present in your system. And a side effect of sleep paralysis is, I guess your brain is still trying to cope with your dream, and you see shadowy figures sometimes entering your room. Now, Hat Man is just... the only thing I can equate it to is that shadow person. And if more of you are probably familiar with shadow person, because I didn't know that Hat Man was a thing until not too long ago. But I did find it a little fascinating, and I was very upset that Hat Man was made into a movie called The Babadook.
What a horrible movie.
Yeah, because it's such a weird phenomenon that I don't know. I can't explain it. But shadow people, people have been seeing them since
the dawn of time.
Yeah, but it's said to come in and sit on your chest, like most people experience it. They'll see the shadow coming over to their bed, and it'll sit on their chest, or it'll strangle them, or something to that nature. Now, I didn't know this until last night, really, but the Nightmare on Elm Street series, that was modeled after sleep paralysis. And if you look at his silhouette in the movies, it kind of looks like Hat Man. Except for, I don't know if anybody's ever seen him with big scissor, Freddy Scissorhands or whatever. Now, one of my theories for Hat Man, and I know this is what's really out there, and this isn't real or concrete, but my theory is, if any of you haven't seen the movie They, 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 go watch it. Like, don't pause it now and go watch it, but watch it afterwards. Well, actually, pause it and go watch it, because this is spoiler alert. I'm going to talk about two movies. Spoiler alert. In the movie They, these kids have night terrors, and these black things live in their closet. So what they do is they come out when they're kids, scare them, and that's it. They go back in the closet, and it seems kind of dumb at first. But as they get older, these things still haunt them. They try not to go into dark rooms and be alone. Well, they start looking on their bodies, and they start seeing these little black spots, and they'll pull, like, these things, these creatures that live in their closet, pull these pieces out of them. Like, they mark them to come pick them up later and eat them. Not that I'm saying Hat Man is going to eat you, but it's very interesting to me that specifically Hat Man would target certain individuals. And it will just keep coming back to certain ones. Because I've never seen a shadow person. I've never seen Hat Man. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of paranormal experiences. I've had 2. Which one was a UFO, and the other one was a ghost that broke my camera. But I will get into those. Don't be like that.
Oh.
But that was kind of like a trophy theory. Like, there's something about people, and I would be very interested if any of you have had experiences with Hat Man. I would be very interested to know if there's any kind of similarity that runs across, that runs the gamut of all of you. I would be very interested to know, like, maybe you're nearsighted. Every single one of you are nearsighted. Or every single one of you have a deviated septum, or you limp with your left leg. I don't know. It could be something small. It could be something big. I don't know. Maybe you all have a birthmark on your left hand, or birthmarks in general. I don't know. I'm just curious if any of you talk to each other and you find out if there's a similarity. Maybe that's what it is. If Hat Man is real, which to a lot of people he's very real. Did you have a theory? Because I've got like 2 more. I've got 1 more, but...
Well, hang on. Let's back up just a second before you get into that next one here. Yeah. If you go back to some of the stories that we have found, or that I found, somebody found. Let me look. Hang on just half a second. I gotta hit this. All right. I'm blind, by the way.
His text is huge on the screen.
You can probably read that from there. Yeah.
They have your phone number now.
I don't care. I can block anybody. There are stories of Hat Man, someone waking up in the middle of the night, unable to move. They look in the corner, and they're able to look into the corner, and when they see this, I think he said a male-shaped, a male-shaped figure wearing a top hat, that it felt as though the shadow reached out and pulled his breath out. Sleep paralysis goes a long way in explaining that, if you believe in that kind of thing. But if anybody's ever woken up out of a solid nightmare, you're short of breath, your body aches, it hurts. It might take you a minute to realize you can or can't move. Those of us who are heavy on the front end roll out of bed, can't stop yourself. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Same thing applies. But as far as seeing a Hat Man, the number one thing that I can think is a term that was put out by the paranormal researchers.
What, Zach Baggins, was it?
No, not okay. Zach Baggins. I don't know what their official title is anyhow. People like Hans Holitzer. They believe that many ghost sightings, many shadow people, as we put it, is your brain trying to make sense of something that's not really there.
Well, that's the same thing with dreams.
Yes. And I have a creepy thing about dreams, too. Something that I have just heard about recently.
Everybody's got a creepy thing about dreams.
No, if you dream of somebody you've never seen before, that's just somebody that's watching you.
I've never heard that before.
You've never heard that before?
No.
It's very recent. I've only heard of that theory. Very recent that I've heard of that theory. But yes, it's a strange theory. We'll get into that later on another episode as well. But the whole matrixing thing, anything having to do with the paranormal, your eyes or your brain can take information and make something out of a shadow.
Yes.
So seeing Hat Man, I wonder if some of this is sleep paralysis mixed with not fully waking up out of a dream, seeing a shadow in the corner that's kind of got a weird shape to it, and the only thing you can equate it to would be Hat Man.
Well, you saw, when I fell asleep on the couch, I woke up, and I sent you that picture of the reflection in the mirror. My wife had a snowman with a top hat on the door, and our door's got a window. Well, it casts a reflection right on the television. As I woke up, I took a photo of it. And it was when I was researching Hat Man, I'm like, my gosh, it was kind of creepy. But that could be one thing that you wake up and associate it with.
Still going through the dream thing that I just kind of rapidly went through and said, yeah, Google sucks. Anyhow.
He didn't mean it, Google. He didn't.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he did.
I really mean it.
You know this is going on a Google platform.
I really don't care. They hate me anyway.
The fact checkers might get us. Be careful.
Here's your fact check. Never mind.
How can you fact check a show like this?
You can't.
Yeah.
Well, you can. I do like the fact that these people say that it looked like a gaucho hat.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Anyhow, your next theory, sir.
So I've read some accounts where this thing, like sometimes it'll be, I've read one that was floating or that walked up the side of their bed and they weren't scared of it. And they reached into it and they said it was cold, but it just kind of dissipated after they reached into it. And they never saw it again. So my thing is, maybe it's more like an entity like it, like the clown, it. Maybe it just feeds off of fear, and if it shows up to you, and if you're not scared of it, it just moves on to somebody that it can get more fear from. I don't know. That's just kind of another theory of mine.
Demon.
Yeah, but if you're not scared of a demon, it's not just gonna go away. It's gonna keep trying.
Yes.
Yeah. So my thing is, usually Hat Man sightings, if they're not scared of him, he goes away.
Normally, most people don't see him more than once anyway.
Some people do.
Some people do.
Yeah. That's the whole point of the other theory, is that it keeps coming back to visit them. Like, there's some people that have seen it once. In fact, near the end of this episode, I'll be reading one guy's account. Real strange stuff going on. And I don't know how to explain it, so I'm going to go over his account. I told you about that one?
I don't know.
Okay, so this is going to be a real shock for you.
I have to do something with this.
That's that word.
Yeah.
Sort of. So, I did go into dream interpretation, kind of, which, and I have to look at my notes. So, top hats in dreams can represent illusion or deception, or it can symbolize wealth. I don't know. I just looked up what the dream interpretation of a top hat would be, just to see. But one more movie, sorry. Actually, I think I brought up 3 because one of them was it. Anyway, if you haven't seen Jacob's Ladder, this is another spoiler alert. Go watch the movie. Have you seen Jacob's Ladder?
No.
My gosh. I'm going to spoil this movie for you, but...
I don't care.
Oh. You don't like horror movies?
Yes, I love them.
Oh. You need to watch Jacob's Ladder. It's an amazing movie. Anyway, so at the end of the movie, actually, let me back up. At the beginning of the movie, Jacob is in Vietnam, and he gets shot, and he's going into shock, and suddenly he wakes up back in his apartment in New York. Well, he goes through this whole movie, and he keeps seeing these demons. Well, towards the end of the movie, he's got this chiropractor. It's one of his best friends. His name's Lou. If I remember right, I think Lou was with him in Vietnam. But Lou keeps on lining up his back, and every time he cracks his back and cracks his neck, Jacob will kind of go and start seeing stuff again. And he's terrified. He says, "Why do I keep seeing these things?" He says, "Jacob." Well, I'm gonna read you the quote. If you're afraid of dying and you're holding on, you'll see the devils tearing your life away. But if you've made peace, then the devils are really angels freeing you from the world. It all depends on how you look at it. So, some people will see Hat Man and then a family member will die, or they'll get into a near-death experience. But it kind of makes me wonder if maybe Hat Man could be the same thing as a different dream. It depends on how you see it. I don't know.
Well,
He doesn't
okay.
like my theories, apparently.
Some of them. I can agree partially with that. I'm going to try not to go into too much detail, so we may have to edit out a part of this or two. Anyhow, personally,
What?
I'll tell you later.
Well, don't use anybody's name or something.
Well, yeah, but I may...
Oh, I'll bleep it.
No, not that either.
I'll bleep it.
I have to think of how to do this without... They may see it and may be hurt. This is kind of like a wound for the family.
Your family?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
A family member lived in a house. I've told you about this house. And
a house that maybe we'll go visit.
We hope.
We hope.
We hope.
That will be an on-site thing that will be pretty amazing. If we get anything close to what he told me is in that house, that will be really cool. And it's nothing dangerous, but it's just...
No.
Anyway, I'll go ahead because I'm excited about that place.
The theory you're alluding to of Hat Man is the Harbinger, the one that
Harbinger of Doom.
He's foreboding, or not foreboding, but he's forewarning of something that could happen. A family member of mine, every time something was about to happen or near a big decision that he had to make, that this family member had to make, his ghost friend would arrive. Never would say anything, never would do anything. He just basically would make an appearance, and it would be kind of the warning to this family member, hey, something's about to happen, you need to keep your head up. So in that kind of theory, Hat Man could be both a benign spirit, one who is just, I'm here to tell you good things are happening or bad things are happening. I'm not going to help you through them. I'm just letting you know. But that also goes back to, why in the world would somebody say suck their breath out?
So that's something that... Look, I'm a big horror movie buff, and I'm going to bring up another horror movie. Shut up. I think it was called The Cat's Eye. Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
It was a Stephen King movie, like back in the 80s. It's where this little troll come out of the wall and steal the breath of the little kid. He'd sit on his chest in the middle of the night and like suck out his breath. But the kid got this cat, and the cat would chase this troll thing away. It's a pretty cool movie. I mean, it's got some claymation crap in it from the 80s, but still, I mean, it's a good movie to watch.
You sure that ain't Troll?
No, it's not Troll. It's, I want to say it's called The Cat's Eye.
Oh boy, here he goes with the technology again.
We got a lot of technology around us right now, and he's just
In hell. Oh, wait, that's Walmart.
Yeah. Cat. Yeah, it's well. Okay, it's not the cat's eye. It's cat's eye.
Cat's eye.
But yeah, there's a little troll coming out of the wall.
Looks like a Ninja Turtle.
It does, kinda.
Hey, I love the Ninja Turtles.
I'm pretty sure it's Stephen King's Cat's Eye. Look, all you bookophiles, I don't know what they're called. Sorry.
Please send us a comment. Tell us what it is if books turn you on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Pageophile. Anyway, that what you said reminded me of that movie Cat's Eye. Just a little troll like trying to suck the breath out of some little kid in his bed.
So it's all on your perception. Is it good or bad?
Well, I would say if something's taking your breath and causing you physical harm or like labored breathing, no, that's probably bad.
Good, then we can count exercise as bad.
I was in the army with a guy who was... No. They told me a story about him. I wasn't in there with him, but he was allergic to exercise. Like he was allergic to his own sweat or something. You're not allergic to exercise. It's called being lazy.
Not lazy.
Oh my gosh, it's lazy. Okay, so do you have any other theories for Hat Man? Because frankly, I don't know what it is. If it's a real thing... Now, I've seen some videos with shadow people, and it's really weird. They like phase to the floor, and it's just blacker than black. They're textureless.
Well, okay, let me... Hold on.
Oh, look, he's whipping out his technology, people.
Speak.
I said whipping out, sorry. Because I've got my viewer story here on screen.
Go ahead. Do you know there's a movie about this?
What?
Hat Man.
Yeah, there's
Documented case of pure evil.
Yeah.
That looks more like Slender Man and Jeepers Creepers mixed together. Had a baby and orphaned it.
Yeah, I really liked Jeepers Creepers, but then I figured out who the director was.
Yeah, that was out there. Way out there.
Well,
cool movie. Bad idea.
Well, no, I mean, you know who the director is, don't you?
No.
He also did the movie Powder. Great movie. I'm not going to start saying stuff and getting sued, so let's see.
Damn, I can't find it. I lost it. Should have made a note about it.
Let's see, what is his name? The director of Powder, Victor Salva. And Victor Salva, an American filmmaker, has primarily worked in the horror genre. Now, where is it? Yeah. Child sex abuse and child pornography. In 1988, Salva was convicted of sexual misconduct with one of Clown House's underage stars who was 12 years old at the time and videotaping one of the encounters. So...
He's a sick little freak.
He's the dude that did Jeepers Creepers.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was a cool movie. So was Powder, but I don't really want to watch him. And no, I don't know. I just don't.
Pirate Bay 'em.
What?
Download them.
No, I don't.
Steal them.
No, we don't. I'm gonna have to bleep that because we don't do that. Anyway, any more things for Hat Man? Don't pirate videos, please.
I don't know how to do it.
Oh.
I've never done it.
It's easy. I don't know how to do it either.
I know where you get them. I don't know how to do it. Anyway, Hat Man.
Hat Man.
Hat Man. Not me. Hat Man.
Yeah. I need a hat, man. A hat. Yeah. Comma, man.
If you wear one too much, you wind up bald man.
Scene. So I do have a viewer story, and I'm going to read it right now. There's 3 different things, and he wants to... I'm going to call him Sean. He wants to keep his last name confidential. I'm not going to go into why, but here goes. The first thing that I remember in my life took place in beautiful Southern California in what must have been around 1978 at the time. We lived in a yellow house in uptown Whittier, which is still there, although I'm not sure if it is still yellow. I was the firstborn child in my family, and I don't think that my brother had been born yet. I remember I had my own bed in my own room. The first time they came to me, I remember they tried to distract me with a dream. It was a dream that they thought I would find amusing and entertaining, but they misjudged. It was simply a dream of my bed shaking and making sounds like a carnival organ. Horrified, I woke up from the dream to see them standing at the foot of my bed. There were 3 or 4 of them, short, dark, hooded little silhouettes, and they were poking at me with their bony fingers. I was paralyzed with fear, but I instinctively decided to make a break for it. I ran into my parents' room and tried telling them about the tickle monsters. At the time, they reminded me of something like a cross between the Ant Hill Mob and the Jawas from Star Wars. They visited me 2 or 3 times. Each time I ran and tried telling my parents about the tickle monsters. Sometimes it was hard explaining things like that to your parents, especially when you're a toddler and it's the 1970s. So the second instance, after my brother was born, we moved to Washington. It must have been about 1980, and we moved into a condo in Everett, or somewhere around there. The condo had no furniture because we had just moved in. One night, my dad had a friend over. I remember he cut hair. He cut my hair. I remember he looked like John Oates. He was a nice, friendly guy, and I think he and my dad were smoking weed and drinking beers, catching up on old times or such. I think he was at our house the night it happened, but what I saw was not him. At some point, everybody went to sleep. My dad's friend was sleeping downstairs, and the 4 of us were sleeping in the master bedroom, which I remember as a kid kind of like a loft. It had a balcony in the bedroom. Our sleeping bags and blankets were spread out across the floor. The only other thing in the room was an old school alarm clock, and with that ubiquitous red display. It was dark at night when the lights were off, and all you could see was that clock. From left to right, I was asleep on the left flank of the group. Next was my mom, then my brother, then my father on the far right. At some point in the wee hours of the morning, I found myself awake in the pitch black darkness of the room. My attention somehow knew to be focused on the door to the room. I was closest to the door and could see the outline of the door about 10 feet past my toes on the other side of the room. In the darkness, I could barely make out that the door had been creaking open slowly. I somehow figured out that it was opened more when my eyes were closed. If I pretended to be asleep for a moment, then opened my eyes again, the door would be open a bit more. That's when I noticed there was someone, or maybe something, lurking in the doorway. I knew my father was always armed and slept with a gun next to him regularly, but I felt that whatever that thing was that I could see, I did not want it to wake my father, because then it would know I was awake, and who knows what it could have done to my father. I did not want my dad to confront this thing for the sake of his own safety, and my dad was a scary guy in his own right. I would close my eyes and open them. Each time I would see more of this guy until he was in the room. Black cloak, black top hat. He reminded me of Danny DeVito in Batman as the Penguin meets Abraham Lincoln, but scarier and ominous. I know that is one heck of a description.
That's rough.
He made his way over to me right where I was sleeping. He moved when I blinked. He did not make a sound. Before I knew it, he was in the doorway and I could make out his size and shape. He was tall. The cloak and hat gave him the appearance of a traveler of some sort. His appearance was somehow darker than the darkness in the room. After playing a bit of possum with this thing or whatever he was kneeling over me. He produced from inside his cloak a little cloth pouch of sand. The next part is going to sound weird, but since it happened to me, all I can say is that it was beyond weird. He pulled down my pajama pants and sprinkled the sand on my genital area, pulled my pants back up, and floated backwards out of the room the same way he came in, silently. In the morning, my dad's friend was already gone. I wondered how this guy could have made it into the house with a person asleep downstairs. I didn't understand any of it. I tried explaining to my mom, but, back then, when it went in one ear and out the other. It would not be for many years that I would bring this event back up to my mom as an adult. By that time, I think I had a bit more credibility. Yeah, this one, I think I might pull that first one out, but that was weird, isn't it?
That's very weird.
Like, I've never heard an account where yeah, I'm gonna turn that. That was really weird, but I've never heard an account where Hat Man
had a physical meeting.
Yeah, like, but he doesn't say he physically touched him. He just said he sprinkled sand on him, which.
Well, I mean, he had to pull his pajama pants down. He had to touch him.
Well, but I mean, didn't like no
molestation.
But I mean, technically it was. Yeah. But it wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, that's just.
Anyway, continue on, and then I'll give you a theory behind it.
Wow. Okay, this is the third instance. I would like to add that the reason I even talk about this is because of a conversation I had with somebody when I was in my late 20s. A friend's father just passed away. Let's call him Jerry. Relatives had come up from Mexico to attend the funeral, and one night a group of us were up late having a chat with this old lady from Mexico. She asked us if we wanted to hear why my friend's recently deceased father ended up having his well-known stuttering problem. The story goes that on one night, when Jerry was a boy living in Mexico in the 1950s, he came home late and couldn't find his mom or anybody. They were next to the What?
They were next door sewing at the relative's house.
Yeah, they were next door sewing at the relative's house.
Seems kind of odd to do.
Yeah. But my Jerry was looking from room to room until he went to the back of the house. Something he saw there made him pass out from fright. After his family came back home, they found him and woke him up. He was traumatized. He stuttered ever since till the day he died. He described what he saw as a man in something like a tuxedo with a top hat, levitating in the corner of the room. This thing reportedly had a very scary face and started floating towards Jerry, at which point Jerry fainted. Once I heard this story, it was like a barrier had been broken in my own mind, and I was suddenly able to talk about my own similar experiences. Because I know what happened to me, I am skeptical of other people's experiences unless they sound similar to mine. And there are plenty. However, I don't usually believe it when people report seeing things like this in a normal waking state. I believe Jerry's story. It's a reminder to me to keep an open mind. But that was Sean's story. That second one was different. I've never heard anything like that before.
Never heard anything like that before. But, all right, let's go back to something that I revisited earlier ago. And if this Sean person, I'm assuming you're watching this again. This reminds me of a story from, well, not really a story. I grew up with older generation people. Always. I was, I'm the grandson to a World War I veteran, is how old my family is. But all my life I've heard, if they're not messing with you, they've already got you. And to me, this brings back some of the stories that I heard some of the older generations say of not necessarily ghosts or demons, but things sent to torment, try to break you from your relationship with Jesus Christ and God. And of course they're referring to if the demons are leaving you alone, then the demons already have you. And most of those stories accounted when they were children. Never have I heard a story of one coming in and sprinkling sand on their genitals. That's a new one to me. Quite disturbing.
Yes.
However, that is what this harkens back to me. Reminds me of. And if there are any other instances, I would love to find out what they look like. If there were any kind of distinguishing characteristics other than the view of a man with a hat.
I'd love to see somebody, like, if they're in a waking state and they're able to move, I would love to see somebody turn on a lamp when this guy's in the room. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm being serious. I'd like to find somebody turn on a lamp when he's in the room.
This goes to another show of, we have the topic of shadow people.
Yes.
And I think I've got a couple of notes on there as to the old definition of shadow people and now the newer, more modern take of shadow people.
Yeah,
we can get into that. That's going to be like an hour and a half long because I'm going to babble on about it here forever.
Well, that's the whole point of a podcast is you babble on and people listen.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You guys are gluttons for punishment then.
Apparently.
Especially with him.
Oh, just wait till we get to the real ghost stuff.
Oh, yeah. I should mention that Olaf or the Nomad, Andrew, he probably won't be joining us for a while or on the show. He told me that his wife contracted COVID-19, so or she might have it. She's going to get it confirmed, but still, I hope she gets better, Andrew. Maybe we'll see at some point. If I remember right, her name's Sarah. Hi, Sarah. But anyway, I thought I would mention that because you guys probably won't see him for a while. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to distract from your... You're good?
My rant's over.
Oh. Well, let's close this thing out by saying, I'm just going to read this because I don't have it all memorized yet. But if you'd like to donate to the show, you can donate to paypal.com. Email is rifter.the@gmail.com. And I'm not saying to donate, but if you would like to, there are some people who have asked me how to. That's how. Any paranormal stories you might have, send them to whats.really.out.there@gmail.com. Really is spelled wrong. I get it, people. The word really is spelled wrong in there. It's spelled with one L. Everybody on Reddit points it out, and it's fine. I know. That's the only one they had available, so that's what I put on there. But if you'd like to share your story, you can do that. Also, if you would like to leave a voicemail for us, I'm pulling out the technology again.
Yeah.
Because I don't have this thing memorized yet.
He went to Walmart earlier.
Oh my gosh.
I hate that place.
Yeah, it's not on the top of my favorites list either. But the phone number is 401-484-1118. Now that's a Google Voice number. I have it on Do Not Disturb. If we start doing live shows, I might take it off Do Not Disturb and take some live calls. I don't know how that would work yet, so I'm not going to do it. But you can leave a voicemail. We can read it if you want to tell a story. I don't know how long the voicemail setting is on Google Voice, so if it's long enough, you can tell your own story and we'll play it on here. But if you prefer to listen to this show instead of seeing the video, we are on...
It's a good option.
What? Instead of watching it?
Yeah.
Because we're us?
We ugly.
Oh, shut up.
We very ugly.
I'm gorgeous. If you prefer to listen to the audio version of this show, we're available on Spotify, PocketCasts, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public. So we're available on all of those. And just a note, there are 419 people subscribed to this channel. Thank you. I don't know what's been going on in the last few days, but people are... I don't know, I've gone from like 410 to 419, so thank you for that. Huh?
They had babies.
The babies aren't automatically subscribed.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, remember, like, share, and subscribe. I'm the Rifter.
I'm the Wireman.
Wireman.
No, I'm not a superhero.
Yeah, you're not.
I do have a superpower. I can clear a room out like nobody's business.
No, don't do that right now. There's too much expensive stuff to knock over, and I don't want to run.
Well, I've got to pee.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, thank you for watching. Again, if you've got anything, put it in the comments. Check us out on the audio podcast. Bye.
My shoulder popped.
Oh gosh!
All I
Stop!
have to do is
Don't
move.
talk. Just stop talking.
I don't want to.